back to the channel, and this is another edition of Build Kit Review. Of course, it is a 56 Ford Fairlane Victoria, and this model has kind of a history. I am a member of the Model Car magazine forum, and I highly recommend the forum. It's a cool place and full of cool people, and it's quite nice to learn new things and to see very interesting builds being done. And that's the reason of this build. I have a forum member that's a friend that's called Mr. Mike, and a few time ago he started building a hot rod out of a 56 Ford. He's using Tamiya Pure White and Testors Go Mango and Krager wheels and the dual quad engine, and I think the model will be a knockout. And he inspired me to build another 56 Ford. Originally, I planned to have a dual 4-barrel engine with a supercharger, some Kragers all around, and with Firestone wide ovals, bias ply tires all around, and to paint the car a nice dark blue with a black and white interior to make it a hot rod, but also something that would be hard to see at night, a dark color car with a big engine, something you would want to do some of that fun street racing. And no, I'm not going to tell you guys street racing is bad. I like street racing. So the result is this. Here's my 56 Ford. Well, where are the Krager wheels? Well, that's a great question. You know, I was with the model painted, and I used the Tamiya TS 64 on the body. That is this beautiful shade of dark metallic blue that I really liked, and it's very close to an original color used by Ford called Nocturne Blue, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is Nocturne Blue. So I would not make a car that far from stock, because I would still be using the dual quad 312Y block, and the only non-Ford thing would be the Kragers and the supercharger. And I was going to use the supercharged that is supplied on the AMT 57 Ford, and that supercharger is not stock. It was not used on the real cars, so the model would be almost stock. Not exactly stock, but almost stock. Let me help. Better, a little better. The problem happened when I did a mock-up with the painted body. I got the painted body, installed it on the chassis that was still unpainted, and I installed the rear axle, the front suspension, and I put the Kragers in just to see how the thing would look, and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. It was like I was violating the car. Then I took the original wheel covers, some white wall tires, and did another mock-up, and the result of that mock-up was actually pretty close to what you're seeing here. I just didn't have the red painted here on the emblem, not the nocturne blue here on the border of the wheel that you would see around the wheel cover. At that mock-up, I decided the stock tires and stock wheel covers would make the car to look a billion times better. And I changed my mind completely on the direction the build was going, and with the original skinny tires, those Biasply Firestone tires, it wouldn't be prudent to have a dual 4-barrel supercharged engine with more than 300 horses under the hood. So I used the Thunderbird special engine with one 4-barrel carburetor, and that's it, the stock engine for this car. To kind of compensate for the lesser engine, I decided to give the car a coat of automotive 2-part clear from Sherwin-Williams, and this is the stuff used to repaint 1/1 scale cars, so it is very resistant. And I buffed it, I sanded it with multiple sanding papers until I got the 2500. That's the finest I had, and I hand polished paint the clear, and I got this finish, and I really loved it. I loved it. This finishes, it looks great on the car. The color looks great on the car. It's not black, but it's very dark, so it means business. The car is classy, kind of like a business suit, you know. Something an executive would drive back in the day, not a 2-ton car. And that's the idea of this car. It's like a tailored dark suit, a classy ride for a classy guy. So the engine that's under the hood it's a stock. It's the 312 cubic inch Y-block V8 with one 4-barrel carburetor. That's a Holley 2000, the teapot. I added 2 little details here, the master cylinder there for the brakes, that's not included in the kit, and the little baggie there for the windshield washer. That is actually a decal that I made that decal on Photoshop. Also, the emblem here on the hood is a decal, this emblem here. And what I did was to scan the decal sheet, the fantastic decal sheet that comes with this kit that has many different Ford crests, and I resized the Ford crests on my computer, and I printed them on white decal paper and applied to the hood. But before applying to the hood, I chrome plated the entire emblem, so I would have the chrome detail on the outside, and I think that worked great. Also, here on the doors, I used that technique of foiling the emblems before painting the body, and I foiled the emblems when the door was just in primer. They painted the door blue, and then I wiped the paint from the emblems with a toothpick and some lacquer thinner, and I did that for both sides. I also did emblems for the centers of the well covers, and those are for crests and are decals, and are, in fact, this one on the hood is called down to fit the hubcaps, and here on the rear of the side spear, the real car has those little squares that are stamped into the trim piece, and they are painted one by one. And instead of painting them one by one, I made a decal to be used here, and I draw the little rectangles on Photoshop and printed them on clear decal paper, and voila, here you have it on both sides of the car. Here on the emblem on the trunk, the black part there's a black part there. It was black washed, and this kit I used to build this car is let me take a look here. It's a 1989 version of the kit, and I found that this particular issue have some little problems here on the V that was later corrected by AMT. Also, the chrome is not the best. The well covers could be a lot brighter, as well as the bumper, and I have to use foil to actually fix a lot of the chrome that was showing the plastic underneath. It was really very thin, but I decided to keep the car all original and use parts from that issue. Another detail I added was the antenna. That's in fact two hypodermic needles, one inside of the other. The base is a scratch built out of plastic, and a little ball there on the tip is epoxy putty that was later chrome plated with Molotov pen. The side mirror is a resin piece I did. It's a copy from the mirror that comes in the Revell 1957 Ford, and it was chromed with Molotov too. The doors open, of course. That's a feature of this kit, and it's very known by this feature. Both doors open to review the interior, and under the dash I have a set of gouges that I was going to use with the supercharged engine, and I just decided to keep them there. It's always nice to have a little gouges to avoid having engine problems. The white I used on the interior is Tamiya Racing White, and it replicates the texture and the shine of a new vinyl. Sits quite right. I think that's quite nice. The car's underside is it's in primer with body color overspray, and everything else was detail painted with my brush painted detail. The exhaust was brush painted, the gas tank, the red oxide on the differential carrier on the rear end, and a lot of the small details like the handbrake cables and the mechanism there was all hand painted. Well guys, I hope you liked this another edition of Pit Kit Review, and I really hope you like the model. And like always, I really love to read your comments, so please, if you liked it, comment. If you don't like it, comment as well. I always open to critics. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great week. Bye bye.